Hello, Dirk McNicholson here, Mercenary for Hire. This is Board Deck and Dice, and today we are doing a double review comparison between Valeria Card Kingdoms and Machi Koro. I owned Machi Koro first. It was one of my earlier purchases in terms of board games, and therefore I am quite fond of it. However, in recent times I have not been playing it as much. One of the reasons might indeed be Dice City, although I feel they're slightly different. But a big reason is Valeria Card Kingdoms. So let's take a look at what we get. These are not laid out correctly, it's just to show you how the games generally work and what you get in them. So in Machi Koro, your game comes with 2 dice, you have various locations that go all the way up to 12 and beyond in some of the expansions, and they cost a certain amount of gold. You also have these kind of main locations which start on your go turned over, and once you get that amount of money you can pay to turn them over. The game will end when you've turned over all your locations. Train station is an early one because it only costs 4 and it lets you roll 1 or 2 dice. On your go you will roll the dice, and whatever number you get, that will activate any locations you have with that number that you have bought. So in this case it would activate number 2, I would get 1 coin from your bank, and greens only happen on your turn. Blues happen on any turn, so anytime anyone rolls a 1 you get that reward, and reds generally take from other players, and there's a certain order for resolving abilities so that it works out as fair, because sometimes people may have money but it may go to someone else before you get there, but there is rules for that. When you roll 2 dice, you must take the total on both the dice. So in this case it would be a 3. I couldn't choose to take a 1, a 2 or a 3. You would take the total. So rolling 2 dice allows you to get those higher ones, but there is the risk that you won't get anything. So there is various different cards in the game. There's purple ones which tend to be kind of special, take 5 coins from any one player on your turn only, and they go up to ones that interact with other locations you may have. Mine is quite useful. Forest and mine are the same type, and there's one I think that activates on those 2 as well for every location you have. So there's a variety of cards in there. In the normal game of Machi Koro, they would all be laid out for everyone to buy all at once. When you start adding expansions in there, they did the improved rule that you make 10 piles of different cards and you choose from those. Then we come across to Valeria Card Kingdoms. Same kind of setup, except as well as citizens, which are the ones that you're going to roll for your numbers, you have a number of other things. You have monsters to defeat, you have domains to buy. Domains will be across the bottom, monsters at the top. At the start of the game you choose a duke, which will give you endgame scoring conditions. You take 2 and you choose 1. So this one, you get 1 victory point for every citizen you have of this class, and 2 for every citizen of this class. You also score 1 victory point for every 3 of each resource that you have. So there's extra scoring at the end, and it's about scoring. It's not a race to build the locations in the same way. Monsters, when you attack them, if you have the required resources, which are represented here, red is attack, blue is magic, which is essentially wild, but if you're going to use it, I couldn't use 5 wild to defeat this bear. I need to have at least 1 attack in there. It kind of adds on to what you've already got. Victory points and gold. So if I pay at least 1 red and then the remainder in blue, or the blue and red, I defeat the gelatinous cube and I get 2 gold. There's a boss monster at the bottom of the pile, and when you defeat them you tend to get bonuses per type of monster you've defeated. So the 2 I put out are swamp and mountain. The domains are very interesting. They tend to give you a really good ongoing or one-shot power, but you can only buy them when you've got citizens of that type. So here I would need the blacksmith type and the alchemist mercenary type, 1 of each, and 7 coins, and then I'd immediately gain a card of that type from the centre stack, as well as 3 victory points at the end. Also, what's nice about Valeria Card Kingdoms is you're not confined to 1 card of each number. The base game comes with 2 that activate on a 3, 2 that activate on a 9/10, and etc, etc. So I put both the 3s out just to show you they are slightly different in what they do. The cost of the cards also goes up 1 if you already own one of that type. So you can buy multiple alchemists. The first one will cost you 3, and then the next one will cost you 4, and the next one will cost you 5, and so on, although there is a location that can remove that constraint. So let's look at what they actually do. If you roll a 3 on your turn, you may change 1 gold coin into 3 magic. Why wouldn't you? If a 3 is rolled on someone else's turn, you see the single player and the multiplayer things here, 1 magic can be turned into 2 coins. So each card has an activation for on your turn and for on everybody else's turn. So this means you're a lot more invested than you are in Machi Koro because you're looking at other people's rolls. Also, you always roll both dice and you take every single possible value. So if I rolled a 3 and a 6, I would activate my 3s, I would activate my 6s, and I would activate my 9s. So each go you're drawing in more resources which you're then using to defeat monsters, to buy locations, to buy more citizens to activate on your go, all with the goal of scoring the most points and keeping an eye on your end game totals. Also, it's worth mentioning that Valeria comes with a really nice insert. So you have all your other cards here, plenty of room for expansions. In here are some little kind of things. If you're getting low on tokens, you can have a times 5 and just stick a gold on top to show you that's times 5 gold. The little trays that keep the resources in have foam so that when it's stood it doesn't go everywhere. It's really well thought out. So that is a brief look. Sorry, I keep shaking the camera, it's a wobbly table. That is a brief look at Machi Koro and Valeria. Now, for having the same game mechanism, these are kind of poles apart from how they work. Machi Koro is a slow burner. You're rolling, you can have multiple goes where you don't get anything, and if you haven't got the cards that activate on someone else's turn, then you're going to be waiting quite a lot. Valeria, on the other hand, is the total opposite. You're getting stuff almost every go. If there is a round where you don't get anything from the dice rolls, you get to take a resource of your choice. Why wouldn't you take magic? And so there's the kind of slow drip of Machi Koro versus the express train of Valeria, and really that is how you're going to split these games apart. Machi Koro is infinitely better with the expansions, and I recommend getting those to add more cards and add less predictability for what you want to do. Once, if you play with just the base set, once you get a good pattern of buying things down, you can essentially buy a really good combo that can ruin the game a little bit, especially for everyone else. Valeria doesn't have that because you can almost do anything you want on some goes, and for some people that's going to be really bad because I guess the tactics might take a hit there, but for me, I'm looking around, what are other people doing, how do I head them off more effectively? If they're getting loads on a certain cards, is there any that I can buy that I also benefit? Is there stuff I can do? Am I going to surprise them with my goal card at the end, which is really good? The end of the game comes when a certain amount of piles are being exhausted, or there's some other conditions as well, but you come with these nice exhausted cards that you put out so you know roughly how when the game is going to end. It also comes with these nice reference cards, which are really well done. Daily Magic tend to be icon heavy, but they always do really good reference cards that kind of explains it all. My preference is for Valeria. In fact, I will probably get rid of Machi Koro because I have Valeria and Dice City, and I just don't see Machi Koro getting a look in, despite me being fond of it. The gameplay I find slower than Valeria and not tactical enough to warrant me keeping it. So intimidation value for both, not bad, not really intimidating. Probably Valeria loses out there because there's all the little pieces, there's various different cards, the iconography, although it makes sense. There is still the fact that you might need to use the reference cards, not particularly on your first game. Once you've done that, I don't think you'll need to use them again, but there is more intimidation there with various tokens and things. Rules, brilliant, really clear. Definitely, Card Kingdom's really clear. From setup to scoring, great. Same again, Machi Koro, I didn't have any problems with that one. Fun, for me, that's where Valeria really takes, not the biscuit because that'd be the wrong phrase, but wins the battle basically. Valeria, for me, is much more fun than Machi Koro. It's fun because you're getting items on your go and other people's go. It's fun because you can use both dice individually and combined, which is really key, I think. Even in Machi Koro, if you're able to choose which one to use, that might be a better thing, I don't know. So that is Machi Koro versus Valeria. I hope you've enjoyed watching. Thank you very much for tuning in, and I will see you next time.